Alright guys, thanks for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be going over UFC fighters as anime characters. So, getting into the first UFC fighter, we have Israel Adesanya, the last Airbender. Trust. I haven't lost at 3 out of my last 4 fights. This is just my training arc. Trust. So, of course, Israel Adesanya, he is one of the greatest middleweights of all time. He has a KO over Alex Pereira, and of course, he has to be Naruto, right? He's gotta be Naruto from Naruto Shippuden, right? Nah, you're not Naruto. You're not Naruto, Israel Adesanya. You're just not cool enough. No, you're Jack from Fire Punch. So, for those of you who don't know what Fire Punch is, it's a manga by the same guy who wrote Chainsaw Man, and just take a look at this panel of this character, Jack. You know, I think this explains everything you need to know about his character. You know, with the dogs and the kids. And yeah, that's why you're Jack from Fire Punch. You're not Naruto. You're just not cool enough. You're not a hero. In fact, you're basically a villain. I think that Israel Adesanya is probably one of the best villains the UFC has ever had. But yeah, just take a look at this Wikia clip of Jack from Fire Punch. You know, and you know Jack is a minor villain towards the beginning of the story, so I'm not really spoiling anybody by posting him here. But yes, Izzy, this is you. You're literally him. You're literally Jack from Fire Punch. So yes, I can definitely say Israel Adesanya is an anime villain. Now, moving on to the actual protagonist of the UFC. Alex Pereira is basically Goku, and here's why. If you look at Alex Pereira's Humanizing Fighters page, you will just see that he just loves fighting. Like, look at this. His favorite video game, fighting games. His favorite sport to watch other than MMA, kickboxing. His favorite hobby, archery. He just loves everything to do with combat. And besides that, his main interest is eating, right? If you ever look at Alex Pereira's Instagram, he's always like doing Brazilian barbecue, or he's eating at some fancy restaurant. And look, he just loves to fight, right? Getting back to that, he loves to fight. He has 3 title defenses in 175 days. That's like the new record, right? I think, yeah, he beat the new record. He beat Ronda Rousey's record for the most title defenses in the shortest amount of time. It's crazy. And the second reason why Alex Pereira is literally Goku is because Alex Pereira, every single guy that he fights, he becomes friends with, or he ends up training with. So, Alex Pereira KO'd Strickland. And then, what did Strickland end up doing? He ended up training with Alex Pereira. And then, after Alex got KO'd by Izzy, Strickland went out and used the training that he learned from Alex to beat Adesanya, right? Literally, I'm playing the video right now. The way that Alex Pereira taught Strickland to sit down on his punches is what helped Strickland drop Izzy in the first round. Okay? Then, this is a lesser known one, but Cesar Almeida. Alex Pereira, I think, has fought Cesar Almeida like 3 times in kickboxing. And Cesar Almeida, he eventually came to the UFC, and he now trains with Alex Pereira. And in fact, on UFC 307, they were both on the same card. And then finally, you have Artem Vakitov, right? You know, Alex is 1-1 with Artem Vakitov. With Vakitov winning the second fight and Alex winning the first fight, right? So, Artem Vakitov, he fought in the Contenders series. And the fight wasn't the best. I mean, Artem Vakitov got the KO. But it wasn't really a fantastic fight. And Dana White wasn't planning on signing him. But Alex Pereira went out of his way to convince Dana White to give Artem Vakitov a contract and then congratulated Artem. I mean, he's literally Goku. He just, you know, he loves fighting. He doesn't hold any grudges against, any of the guys that have beaten him. And yeah, he's just such a great representation of the sport. Just like how Goku's like, a great representation of anime or training or whatever. Moving on to like a lesser known one, Fernando Padilla is Luffy, and this isn't really like a spiritual resemblance, like how Izzy resembles Jack from Fire Punch at a spiritual level, or Alex resembles Goku. No, Fernando Padilla, he's just Luffy because he that's the character that he plays, right? He has the straw hat, and his build is very similar to Luffy's. Like it's very long and lanky looking, right? For especially for lightweight. And I mean, he has a couple wins with I think he won his last fight with a Darce choke or something like that. So that's close enough to the gum fruit, and like stretching whatever. Yeah, so Fernando Padilla, congratulations, you get to be Luffy, even though you're not ranked. I don't know how good you are as like a fighter, but yeah, congratulations, bro. Moving on, Jamal Hill is Gojo Satoru, and now you might be thinking, how the hell is like Jamal Hill even like 1% as cool as Gojo? Now, you won't understand this unless you've been spoiled for Jujutsu Kaisen, and I have. In fact, I did not finish the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen at all because I thought it was mid. I thought it was a repeat of basically everything else that's been done before. But the reason why I can say this is because Jamal Hill, if you remember back before UFC 300, Jamal Hill, everybody was saying like, oh, Jamal Hill's got a pretty good shot at beating Alex Pereira. If you look at the odds for UFC 300, Jamal Hill, plus 120, Alex Pereira, minus 150. The odds were nearly even. And, Jamal had a lot of fans after the war that he went through with Glover Teixeira, where he won the UFC light heavyweight belt. And the same goes for the popularity of Gojo Satoru, right? Like, he's the reason why everybody watches Jujutsu Kaisen. But then, well, you know what happened. Both Gojo Satoru and Jamal Hill got neg-diffed, and now nobody cares. Now, like both of them basically got off-screen, right? Sukuna off-screened Gojo, and then Alex Pereira off-screened Jamal Hill. Now, I haven't read Jujutsu Kaisen, I didn't watch the anime, but I just know that the ending was trash, and, a large part of the reason why the ending is trash is because Gojo's death was off-screened, right? And the fight with Sukuna was off-screened. So, it's basically just a disappointment. Jujutsu Kaisen is just now a big, fat disappointment. And, yeah, nobody cares about it anymore. It's probably one of the worst endings in anime manga history, right? And that's why I don't trust redone trash, right? I don't trust recycled stuff, recycled content for anime. Especially since Jujutsu Kaisen was basically just, you take one part Naruto, one part Bleach, and that's basically what it was. But I digress. Jamal Hill got neg-diffed by Alex Pereira. He got KO'd in the first round, basically by the first punch that Alex Pereira threw. And yeah, it's just, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about you, Jamal Hill. The only thing that's happening now with Jamal is that everybody's rooting for him to get KO'd by Yuri or Khalil Roundtree, right? And with the whole yawning thing, it's just cringe. You just cringe. Jamal Hill, you're cringe. And now moving right along to another light heavyweight, we have to put Yuri Prohaska on this list, man. Yuri he just loves Japan, He's basically just a massive weeb who turned into a UFC fighter, right? Like, Izzy Adesanya? Adesanya is he's like one of the cringe weebs. Like, he's one of the ones that, watches Naruto and does the run and believes that this is his anime character. Trust. No. Yuri is a bona fide, he's one of the cool weebs, right? He dresses in his karate gi. There was a photo of him training, I think in Kagoshima, a few days ago while he was getting ready for his next fight. Here's a photo of him, I think at a castle and dressed in armor. And of course, he's fought in Ryzen before, right? Like, everybody basically kind of treats Yuri as the Czech samurai. Even Japanese people, we see Yuri as sort of like an extension of the Japanese samurai culture. Unlike you, Izzy, you dog dealer. And basically, I'm just going to say, Yuri is Mic Guy. I couldn't think of like a perfect anime character for Yuri, but his fight style and the fact that he puts on banger fights, basically, Yuri is always putting his life on the line, just like how Mic Guy put his life on the line, unlocking the eighth gate in his fight against Madara. And both of them were probably the best fights, right? for that particular, Yuri put on some of the best fights in UFC history with his fight against Glover Teixeira, and Mike Guy put on probably the best fight of that final arc of Naruto, right, against Madara. So yeah, Yuri is Mike Guy. We've got a lightweight here. Drew Dober is Zoro, and now if you know, you know, right? There's a certain commonality in the preferred opponent type between these two. Drew Dober, he brutally KO'd Bobby Green, Rafael Alves, and then Terrence McKinney, those three. And there's a certain commonality in the complexion of those three fighters. Now, he also reacts in a certain way when he hears words like...
He's a black... What?
And this is the same case with Zoro, right? There's videos exposing Zoro for his biases, right? Beating up Mr. One, beating up a giraffe. Where are giraffes from? Africa, right? So yes, there's certainly a decent amount of commonality, right, between Zoro here and Drew Dober. And I personally am not racist, but, Drew, Zoro, there's something to be said there, Now, this one's going to be a little bit longer, but Sean O'Malley is Kazuya Kinoshita from Rent-A-Girlfriend, or in Japanese, it would be Kanojo o kari shimasu. Now, why can I say that Sean O'Malley is this, skinny, weirdo-looking, incel-looking protagonist? Well, it comes down to this one panel from chapter 218 of this quote-unquote romance anime, right? It's actually terrible. I've never watched it. I only know the memes from it. So, as for why Sean O'Malley is Kazuya from this Rent-A-Girlfriend anime, well, let's just say that, Sean, he's in an open relationship with his wife. They make Tinder posts about, like, finding a third for the two of them, which is very, very bizarre. Let's just say that. And, well, Kazuya in Rent-A-Girlfriend chapter 218, well, let's just say that he gets aroused by the thought of another man, robbing his crush. Let's just say that. And he cries about it, but he also gets a little bit horny. He gets a little bit hot under the collar, I guess, at the thought of it. And, that's just very, very reminiscent of the relationship that Sean O'Malley has with his wife. And, well, I created this other image of Marab doing the same to Sean's belt because, well, MMA Guru, you're wrong. Marab won that clearly 4-1 or even 3-2. So, yeah, Sean, you're Kazuya. This is your life, man. And this is the life you chose. You could have chosen not to do this, okay? But now everybody's just going to make fun of you for it. And you're forever going to be labeled this. Like, people make fun of Ian Gary, but, at least Ian Gary, I'm pretty sure he can be sure that that's his kid, right? Right? Sean's weaknesses, his takedown defense, his inability to speak on the mic, and then, paternity tests. Are we really sure? Are we really sure that that's his daughter is, his? Can we be sure? I don't think we can be. Fun fighter, though. I'd like to see him fight Henry Cejudo next. Now, moving on to a more positive one, DJ is Levi. And come on, it's just there. The comparison's obvious. DJ is a fantastic fighter, so is Levi. Now, both of them are probably DJ is the strongest in the flyweight division. He's the GOAT. Now, I would say he's second GOAT, number 2, maybe even number 1. Because I don't really consider Jon Jones or Anderson Silva to be GOAT worthy because they both pop for steroids. Like DJ is one of the natty goats of MMA. And so is Levi is the strongest character in Attack on Titan, right? He's the strongest human. And they both do all this like crazy spinny stuff. DJ with the flying armbar against Ray Borg, or his KO against Moraes in their second fight. And then like Levi does all the spinny stuff too. He's people making like fidget spinner memes about him back in the day. So yeah, DJ is Levi. Now moving right along, back to another lightweight. Dustin is Vegeta, and now this comparison, it's not perfect, of course, because I earlier said Alex Pereira is Goku, but Dustin is Vegeta because, well, Dustin has always been like very consistent, but he's always been second best, right? Like Dustin's never claimed the lightweight strap, even though he's beaten plenty of champions, right? Like he beat Eddie Alvarez, he beat Conor McGregor twice, he beat up Max Holloway. He's got one of the best resumes in lightweight history, but he's always been one step behind the best guy in the division. Like he was one step behind Khabib. He was one step behind Charles. And he, of course, he was one step behind Islam Makhachev. So Dustin, Dustin is like one of the greatest lightweights of all time, right? But he just never was the best. He was always the second best, and he was always very consistent. But yeah, Dustin is Vegeta. Now finally, we have Peyton Talbot, and Peyton Talbot is Yuri from Yuri on Ice. Now, getting straight into this, I think you can tell what's going on here now. Peyton, he's a little bit, a little bit zesty, a little bit sus, right? He pole dances. He has like an ambiguity to his sexuality, right? And the same goes for Yuri from Yuri on Ice. Now, there's like this scene, right? And I think like the second episode of the show. You see, I haven't watched this one either. I just know this one from memes too, and because, like girls I've been with, they talked about this anime, right? And well, yes, there's a lot of things that are implied in this anime, just like how Peyton Talbot tends to imply a lot of things about his preferences, shall we say. And, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's the commonality between Yuri from Yuri on Ice and Peyton Talbot is that it's all very, very overt, but it's also very, very, it's all implied, right? There's a lot of hints. There's all these hints about their preferences, about what's going on, but it's never made 100% explicit. It's never confirmed, like Jeff Molina, right? No, there's no video, but it's implied. So, there's nothing wrong with it. YouTube algorithm, there's nothing wrong. But yeah, Peyton is Yuri, Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you liking and subscribing or sharing it or whatever. And yeah, I'll try to pump out more content on a daily basis. So yeah, see you guys. Bye.